as, of course, coach of the Cowboys. Prescott in trouble.
Close call, bang, bang play. Didn't get it.
Slot to the right side, Rodgers under center.
He's got it there.
28-yard field goal attempt.
Yes, good.
A lot of things that we turned around today. Just coincidence that Dallas was in town.
It's Thursday. We've got football on TV tonight. Hello, welcome to NFL Live. I'm
Y'all so disrespectful.
Packers and Titans. Come on, Swagoo. It's okay. We got a lot of show left.
Y'all so disrespectful.
Who's disrespectful to you, man?
Keyshawn Johnson on that wall to my left. You've got Marcus Spears and also Mina Kimes. We'll have them in just a moment.
What up, MK?
Shefty will be here as well. The Eagles are adding a big name to their defensive line. He'll have the latest on who that player is. But we start with the game tonight as we check in at the Domino's pregame headquarters. Standing by is our guy, ESPN Packers reporter Rob Domofsky. And Rob, the headline out of Sunday's win over the Cowboys was the connection between Aaron Rodgers and rookie wide receiver Christian Watson. They had 3 touchdowns. What do Rodgers and company have to say about how realistic it would be for more of the same going forward?
Yeah, in that regard, Field, Matt LaFleur told us this week, you never want to feel like you've arrived in this league because it can humble you pretty quick. And what he meant by that was just because what you did last week worked doesn't mean that it will work again this week. The other part of that last week was the running game. Field, they ran on 62% of their plays last week, the highest they've ever done with Rodgers. But LaFleur pointed out that it's a Titans defense this week they're facing that ranks number 2 in the league. Another sign that they just can't roll out the same game plan. Now, one thing Christian Watson said this week is that what he did should make teams respect him down the field and open things up for some other guys. And speaking of other guys, Field, just moments ago, the Packers activated Randall Cobb off injured reserve. Remember, he's missed the last 4 games with an ankle injury, so they will have him tonight. And that's another thing that they can use. Look for him, especially on third downs when Aaron Rodgers likes to go to Cobb.
Yeah, Rob, such a good point there is, of course, Aaron Rodgers and Randall Cobb probably have as strong of trust as there is amongst any quarterback and wideout in the NFL today. Rob, enjoy the game tonight. We'll be following your coverage closely.
Thanks, Field.
Let's get back to Dan and Key. And, guys, when you watch the tape, what do you see when you find Rodgers and Watson hooking up?
Yeah, babyface, the reality is this. Christian Watson's the only guy on Green Bay's offense that actually changes their offense because his vertical speed. I'm going to show you 2 clips from last week. One, the vertical ability and how important it is to get vertical on that. And then the second one, when you're running horizontal, how you got to win. Key at the bottom of the screen. This is that 3rd and 1. He's going to run the go route. Now, it's really important for everybody at home to pay attention. Right now, Christian Watson goes on the inside, right, instead of getting outside. What's he have to do once that defensive back is on his outside, running a go route when he goes inside?
First of all, the defensive back is in bump and run coverage, but he never engages until 5 yards down the field. But once he made the decision to go inside, he now has to get width to get back out here, and there's an imaginary red line to give air for Aaron Rodgers to be able to have about a 5-yard space to throw that ball on his outside shoulder.
Let me ask you a question. So, knowing he has to get outside, what's the best way? Like, how do you get outside and get stacked on that corner?
First of all, you just drop your head and you run. You run as fast as you can, but at the same time, you engage a defender and start that lean process. But that's poor coverage by the defensive back. If you're going to be impressed, you need to engage to disrupt the route.
Are we okay with him peeking back like this while he's running, searching for the ball?
It depends on what Green Bay says. If they say look at 40, look at 40.
I love that. So there's that big play vertical. I love the fact. Now I want to ask you this. His hands. Sometimes you see when he goes and catches the football, it's almost like his hands are out. What's the big issue with that?
The big issue is his pinkies should be together, not his elbows. I mean, it's like a breadbasket, so to speak. And he's what I call a body snatcher. He hasn't trusted his hands in the National Football League nearly the way he should.
That's a big deal for their offense, though, the ability to throw the ball downfield vertically on the play-action pass. Now, I want to go to this deep crossing route of the bunch. You're going to get man coverage. Here's Watson here. Now, we call this a stair step. If I drew a stair step for everybody at home, or a set of stairs, it would go up, over, I would go up, over, and up. That's exactly what a stair would look like. Now watch him versus that man coverage. Key, this is really good by him right now, coming down in to get that defender follow. Now what's he got to do when he gets to that moment?
He's got to get vertical again, that step. He has to go up, Now he can cross. He's running it off the safety at this point. The corner's dead. He doesn't even have to worry about the corner. It's all about the safety.
So his big job is to get back across to that underneath defender playing man coverage and get that ball thrown away to that defender. That's the perfect stair step versus man coverage. So you see man coverage one-on-one when I'm going vertical, get inside, stack the corner, and then get vertical. And then when you're playing man coverage and you're trying to get from one side of the field to the other, it's important with a speed guy to use
get
that
going.
stair
You got to
step.
get going on your horse. You can't play around with it.
Love it. Field, on you, bub.
Yeah, as always, stuff. Great stuff there, guys. Taking things beyond just the numbers. It's worth noting Christian Watson was the first Packers receiver with 3 touchdowns amongst rookies since James Lofton all the way back in 1978. The Titans are going to be shorthanded tonight. Here are the players that have already been ruled out. Center Ben Jones, such a rock for them in the middle of the offensive line. Randy Bullock is out. Bud Dupree, a big-ticket free agent signing just a couple of years ago, also out for the Titans. But there is one name that we are still waiting for more information on, and for that we say good afternoon to Adam Schefter. Jeffrey Simmons, one of the best defensive players in all of the NFL. Shefty, what can you tell us about his status for tonight?
Well, Phil, before we get to Jeffrey Simmons, let me just say that you saw Randy Bullock being out tonight. That means that Josh Lambo will be kicking at Lambeau Field. Lambeau at Lambeau usually means good things for Green Bay. As for Jeffrey Simmons, if you're looking for a hint as to whether he'll play tonight due to that ankle injury that he suffered that left him listed as questionable, he provided one today on Instagram. He posted earlier today a picture of a lion. And that lion looks like it's ready to come out and prowl. And if you're posting lions on game day when you're listed as questionable, as a general rule, you're active and you're playing that night. So look for Jeffrey Simmons to be out there wreaking havoc with Green Bay's offensive line.
Jeffy, I do the same thing every day that I host NFL Live, so I can relate to Jeffrey Simmons in exactly one way in life. More from Shefty throughout the show here. Plenty of news and information. So on Sunday, the Packers posted their highest designed rush percentage in a game with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback ever, running a design rush on 62% of their plays. So it clearly worked out against Dallas. That might not be the case against the Titans, who bring in one of the league's best rush defense. This season, Tennessee's defense ranks 3rd in yards per rush and 1st in both run-stop win rate and rushing touchdowns allowed. Let's expand the conversation, get our friends Marcus and Mina involved as well. And Swagoo, I'll start with you. Let's start with this Packers running game. I'm sorry to remind you, but 200 yards against Dallas this past Sunday. What worked so well for them?
Well, Babyface, sometimes in the morning when I'm home, my wife is in there doing my daughter's hair. And she is always talking about, I got to make sure their edges are straight. Okay? I think that's like biblical. For women, they have to take care of the edges on their hair, and that's what the Dallas Cowboys didn't do against this Green Bay Packers rush. The edges were under attack, and it had the Cowboys' hair all wild. Okay, that's what happened. It was out of position. It was gaining the edge even before the running back got the ball in his hands, and Green Bay did a phenomenal job of overloading the side into which they were running. As you see here, it was not, these guys were not being touched until they turned the corner and had got 3 to 4 yards up the field. This is the vein that the Green Bay Packers want to live in. They want to have overloads to when they toss the ball to Aaron Jones, who has phenomenal vision and the ability to get upfield. So Tennessee is going to have to set the edge tonight and turn everything back inside.
And they should be able to do so. I mean, you don't really get as far apart as you do with the Cowboys' run defense and the Titans' run defense. Sorry, Marcus.
Yeah.
You saw the numbers. They've been incredibly efficient. They've done it, by the way, with pretty light boxes, playing gap and a half. So they're really, really fundamentally sound up front. And that sets them up for success on 3rd down. I'm sure you guys have heard they have the best 3rd down conversion rate in the NFL. That's in part because this pass rush has been really impressive. Despite losing Harold Landry, the young corners have played well. But it's also because they're so good at stopping the run on 1st down that when teams get into 3rd down, they face the 2nd longest distance to go in the NFL. So you go back to Green Bay, which is coming off this game where they had so much success running the ball. And I'm not saying abandon the run entirely, but on early downs, I don't think if you're the Packers, you want to run into the problem of just running over and over with little success. I think the RPO game will be key in this one, as well as the screen game. Yates pointed this out to me before the show. The Titans are actually allowing the 2nd most catches to running backs, so that's somewhere I would go if I was Green Bay.
And Mike Vrabel, it just feels like this team
Every year, man.
embodies his spirit, by the way, as
Every
a defensive
year.
player, because few players set the edge as well as Mike Vrabel during his awesome standout NFL career. More on the scheme and more of this game coming up. We have a developing story here into NFL Live.